Hello and welcome to this Quilter Skill Builder episode with Annie's Creative Studio. I'm Heather Valentine and today I have an easy to make and totally functional project, the scrunchie. During class today, I'm going to show you how to turn a fabric tube with ease, tunnel your elastic twist free, and show you a no-show seam finish. So let's gather our supplies and dive right into the project. One of the best things about the scrunchie is that it requires very little supplies. You're going to need a few scraps of fabric, depending on how many you want to make, your standard sewing thread, pins, a safety pin, that's going to be to tunnel our elastic, 1/4 inch elastic, scissors, and this tool is the easy point and turn, and it is going to make your life so much easier. Plus, you're going to need your sewing machine. So go ahead, gather all of your supplies, and then it's time for us to just really start putting it all together. It's going to be super fast. Now, making the scrunchie is really easy. You're going to need to cut a piece of fabric 4 inches by 18 inches long for your mane. That's going to be the outside of the scrunchie, and then you're going to need a piece of elastic that's 8 inches long. Now the first thing that we're going to do is fold our fabric in half like a long rectangle, and we're going to sew straight along this outside edge, but we're going to leave an opening probably about 1.5 inches so that we can turn it. Okay, so just so that I don't forget, I'm just going to mark really quick here, and you can see I'm not measuring, I'm just doing it by guess. And then you can either pin this if you like, use some clips, or just head straight to the machine. You don't need to worry about pressing or anything else. What you need to be concerned is those 2 marks right there. Let's just make sure that I have them really marked off so that I can see them while I'm sewing. And as an extra guide, I'm going to actually pin it right there. And what I'm going to do is backstitch at each spot to give me a little bit extra reinforcement. And then we're just going to straight stitch right along this with a regular foot, no special stitching. Okay? Better. Now when you get to that mark, you're just going to do a quick backstitch, just for reinforcement. And then you're going to jump over that opening and start right at your other mark. Start with a quick backstitch and then continue right along the edge. Now your tube is going to look like this, and you're going to have this little opening to turn everything in. All right, now comes the fun part. I'm going to show you how to turn that long loop in a flash with the help of this tool. It's the Easy Point and Turner. And what you're going to do is slide it all the way through. You're going to put it right over, go past that little opening, and come straight to the end. Now, I'm going to fold mine down just a little bit, and then you're going to grip it with your hands. It's really easy to do. And then you're just going to turn it right back over on itself all the way through. Okay? And when you get to the end right here, we don't want to turn it all the way. So this is how we're going to clean finish it. You're going to take it off of your piece, and then you want to line up your seams. Okay? So you want to just line up those end seams, and that's going to give you a nice clean finish. Now, if this were stretchy fabric, I would suggest sewing it on your machine, but it's kind of small and the woven makes it a little bit cumbersome. So I'm going to suggest just hand stitching this. Just use a standard running stitch, really easy to do. Okay? There's no wrong answer here. And I've already got my needle and thread all together. I'm just going to put a quick knot in it. Okay? And then with these right sides together, I'm going to just stitch it in place. I'm going to start with a little knot, okay, back stitch it, and then I'm going to stitch all the way around. It's going to be really quick. Okay, I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And you just want to make sure that you don't pull it. There's no gathering here. We're just going to do straight and easy. And trim. Okay, with our seams joined so that you're not going to be able to see anything, we're now going to pull the entire tube out through that little opening that we left earlier. Okay, and here's where all the magic happens. Watch. Just got to get it started. Okay, there we go. Now our tube is completely stitched together. There's no showing. And what I'm going to suggest that you do now is just give it all a quick press at your ironing station and press all of this seam allowance under. Okay, so just give everything a quick press, and then it's time to tunnel our elastic in place. With it all pressed, it kind of looks like a headband, but don't worry, because in a few minutes we're going to have our elastic tunnel through and the gathers are going to take shape. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is take your 8-inch piece of elastic. You can fold it over in half so that it lays nice and flat with no twists, and then mark from side to side, just a pen. It could be anything, even a felt tip marker, because this is going to be hidden inside. And this is the trick that's going to help make sure that your elastic is not twisted on the inside of your scrunchie. After you have everything marked, take your safety pin, slide it through the tip of your elastic, and then we are just going to tunnel it straight through. Now, the biggest trick here is you don't want to lose the end of your elastic. So what I like to do is take my elastic, pin it, making sure that if my elastic went in with no mark on it, that I'm pinning it the same way. This way I'm ensuring that it's not twisted, and I just want to pin it in place. This way I won't lose it. And then you are just going to tunnel your elastic straight through. Okay? Once you get 8 inches in, you'll start to feel the tension and the gathers will start to form. Okay, coming out the other side. Straight out. And then what I'm going to do is simply take the elastic and the other piece and make sure that I'm matching them in place here. Okay, now I can pull it tight to give me enough room so that I can take this to the machine and just backstitch to secure it. So I'm going to pin it, and you just want to go back and forth to make sure that it's nice and secure and that you won't lose it on the inside of your scrunchie once finished. So another thing that you can do is use this zigzag stitch, and this will give it a bigger bite on your elastic, and it'll give you a little bit extra reinforcement. So once you have your elastic in place and you're not worried about it coming apart, you're just going to simply slide it inside, and now it's just a matter of hand stitching our seam closed. All right, so with our elastic all in place, it is time to just stitch this little opening closed. And with a hand, needle, and thread, I'm using a coordinating thread so that my stitches get buried right down in the bottom. I'm just going to use a little ladder stitch. I'm going to start by burying my knot on the inside, and this might be hard to see. We are going to go from side to side. So I'm going to go right in that fold coming out, and then directly across to the other side. And do this all the way over. This is called a ladder stitch. And when you pull it, you're basically going up and across just like a ladder rung. Okay, so you can see here, it's coming right out that white, and I'm going directly across, and I'm coming up maybe like a heavy 1/8 of an inch. Okay. I want to make sure that I get all of that in. And then I'm going directly across again on the opposite side and repeating. And I'm using that fold that I pressed earlier from a seam allowance to actually help me bury my thread in there. This way you won't see it and it will not show. This is a no-show finish, and you can use this on so many of your other projects, not just these little hair scrunchies. Okay, so just continue stitching it till your opening is closed. And then bury your knot on the other side. And there you have it. Thanks for joining me in class today. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make this everyday hair accessory. I'm sure you'll be looking at your scraps and leftover fabrics in a whole new way. Now, if you loved this class and are ready to take on a new project, be sure to check out Annie's Creative Studio to find your next class.